Hey folks, Craig Danger, vinyl record player. I'm here to present 10 records today that are 55 years old. These are not going to be your commonplace records, your Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, great album, your Abbey Road, OBS. These are going to be 10 records that you should have in your collection, but the likelihood is you may not. So I'm going to ask you to safety first, and please, buckle up. Let's start out with this one from '69. How about Al Green? Green is Blues. This, of course, would be, I think this is possibly his first LP on the High label. Possibly also his first working with Willie Mitchell. I'm not 100%. He did have an album, I believe it's on Dakar. It may also have been on High, not sure. From '67, called Backup Train. Green is Blues, really, though, I think this is a good little album. This is definitely quality stuff from Al, and you know, I've said it a million times before. Anything Al, basically from I'm going to say '69 up, really into the '80s, you can pick up, and it's all going to be really good stuff. This one's got One Woman, a lot of cover versions, but like I say, a very good album. This is definitely worth a pickup if you see it. This is an alternative cover. Don't ask me, there's quite a few different covers, I'm not sure. I don't think this is British, but whatever the case, Green is Blues, my first album of 10 from 1969 that really you should own. That's a 55-year-old record. Okay, and of course, for my second one, we're talking about Jon Stewart here. Little California Bloodlines from 69, yeah, that's a 55-year-old record. Picked this one up for $3. It's available, friends. Jon Stewart, of course, was in the Kingston Trio, I guess in the earlier 60s. Kind of broke out on his own. Did a lot of really kind of good country rocky stuff. Almost kind of has a Johnny Cash-ish vibe to him. Maybe less cowboy, less southern, but you know, that really kind of serious sort of tone, a voice. But really, you know, I was listening to this morning, trying to figure out if I wanted to throw this on the list, and the answer is yes. This one's kind of a heavily produced country rock sort of LP. And you know what? I know, I'm not exactly selling it here, but it's a really fun and good record. Jon Stewart, I do have a second LP by him, still have to listen to it. But California Bloodlines, if you see this for under 10, it's worth a pickup, particularly if you like sort of country rock. I guess probably around that era, you know, you would have been talking about somebody like Nielsen might have been doing very similar stuff. But Jon Stewart, California Bloodlines, really good album. And again, you can pick it up for $3. Maybe you can pick it up for $3. I mean, I've said this before on the channel many a time, and frankly, I'm not going to change. How about Then Play On from 1969? I'm going to go ahead once again for new viewers of the channel and tell you that this may be the best hard rock record ever released. You still here? You still here? Yeah, I know. But in my opinion, wow, this is an early piece of hard rock. Of course, this is Peter Green's era of the Fleetwood Mac. Lovely album from 1969. Woo! I listened to this one, crazy. There's the cool ass looking band. Wow. I don't think you could be more 1969 if you tried. Again, this is a repress, but wow. Really good album. All basically cover to cover. This is just, in my opinion, probably, I've always put it at like maybe number 2 best Fleetwood Mac album ever. But for 1969, I mean, I think this is easily the hard rock album of the year. I know there's some Zeppelin. I know there's other stuff. But wow, really good stuff. Key tracks on this one, I mean the whole thing, but Showbiz Blues, Close My Eyes, it's just dark, it's got the Spanish guitars. Ooh, moody. It's a very moody record, but this is so good. Again, easily my favorite of Fleetwood Mac, particularly that early period. And yeah, unfortunately this would be the last with Peter Green before, unfortunately, they would move on from Peter Green and also, just kind of become a totally different band, to be honest. But Then Play On from 1969, 55-year-old record, Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green. Ooh, if you don't have this in your collection and you are a hard rock aficionado, then you know what? Maybe you're not a hard rock aficionado. Have you thought about that? Not until you get this. Not until throwing down a challenge. That's a danger challenge I've thrown down. Anyway, speaking of rocking, since we're already doing it, I've been bringing this record up a lot lately, but woo, real fan. I'm not gonna keep talking about this one. You know, basic super group. You got your Clapton, your Winwood, you got your Ginger Baker, Rick Gretsch on bass. No one ever talks about Rick Gretsch, but I'm not gonna say Rick Gretsch ain't no not Ginger Baker. Jack Bruce, who also actually released an album this year, Songs for Taylor. I can't say that I love that album. It felt a little ramshackle to me. This album, on the other hand, is a cooker. Eric Clapton really at his riff rockin' best. He's all over the place. Sea of Joy is a good one. Man, Presence of the Lord is good. Man, there's so many good tracks on this one. Had to Cry Today. Woo-hoo! Woo! That's what I'm saying. But anyway, Blind Faith. This one's easily available. A lot of people bought this album. And you know what? It is fantastic. I'm really happy to have a copy of this 55-year-old record from Blind Faith. Their single and only album. Oh, we're really talking the dusty classics here. Unfortunately, yeah. First of all, don't put a sticker on a man's bald head. Yeah, have some goddamn respect. Okay? Could we do that? Old friends at Stax Enterprise on the Enterprise label. As you can see, this is a division of Stax. I've talked about this record many a time. This is 4 tracks, this album, but it's got to be at least 40 minutes. It's all encapsulated by the lead-off track, Walk On By, obviously the Backrack David jam, taken to just absolutely explosive heights by this bald man right here, Hot Buttered Soul, the Isaac Hayes. This was kind of his breakthrough album before the soundtrack for Shaft. But you know what? This album's all great. You can play a game of Spot the Samples easily on this one. Rappers in the 90s and the 80s, woo, they heard this record, they're like, oh, I want that beat. Portishead has sampled this. Anyway, I have spoken about this record way too many times to go on at length, but if you do get an Isaac Hayes album, this one is it. With all due respect to Shaft, which is a more expansive view of Isaac Hayes, in my opinion, you cannot miss. 4 tracks only, but wow. Settle in. It's going to be a funky time. So again, Hot Buttered Soul, 55 years old. 1969, that one. Yeah, I know. You're like, okay, is this the video I've seen before on the Danger Channel? Yes, kind of. Of course, I'm going to be talking about Soul Portrait, Willie Hutch, produced by John Flores. Really cover-to-cover bangers. Not even any ballads on this dog, just nothing but soul perfection. Still kind of I wouldn't call this a 70s soul album yet. This is sort of like an advanced late 60s album in my opinion, but woo, Willie cooks it. The problem is this record sold 0 copies. This is of course a repress. It's really hard to find the original RCA, but wow, this is just an absolute barnstormer of an album from cover to cover. If you can get the recent repress, usually get you around $35 US, a little bit more, a little bit less. If you can get an original copy, woo, go for it. But yeah, like I say, this is easily, in my opinion, and I've said this before, because I'm all about saying outlandish things apparently, that this is easily one of the top 3 soul LPs of the 1960s. Easily. Could be even top 2, to be honest. I mean, I would... in the comments, if you know if you can think of top 3 soul albums of the decade, well, and you're not going to include that, I'd love to know about it. But again, Soul Portrait, Willie Hutch. I know most people don't have this in their collection. Ooh, but they should. This is a record that unfortunately even I missed until last year, and now I can get enough of it because I kind of overplayed it a lot. But ooh, still good. Soul Portrait, Willie Hutch. Here's one that I just listened to today. Got this on the cheap last year. Gordon Lightfoot, Sunday Concert. This is live from Massey Hall. Probably recorded in '68. This would be his first live album, his last LP on the United Artists label. That's important to me because, frankly, I think a lot of the stuff on the United Artists label is just absolutely fantastic. particularly his first LP, Lightfoot from '66. But you know what? I listened to it, really good, really great sound. It's all very folky. Obviously, there's no drums on this particular jam. But Sunday Concert, I mean, I picked this up for £3. It's out there. But this, of course, is, again, his first live album. And you know what? It sounds great. The players with him are fantastic. Really kind of laid back sort of record. But I love me some Lightfoot. R.I.P., obviously. He just passed, I believe it was last year in around May. But wow. This is actually a really good record. And I would say anything on the United Artists label is going to get you some fantastic music from Gordon Lightfoot. But from '69, what are you looking for? You looking for a 55-year-old record? How about Sunday Concert? Very good one. Gordon Lightfoot. This one I actually just picked up as well, to be frank, just the other week. Cloud 9, The Temptations. Getting into a little bit of that later 60s soul, particularly with The Temptations. By this point, they're produced by Norman Whitfield. Cloud 9 would be kind of part of the psychedelic soul feeling that he's getting. But you know what? Runaway Child, Running Wild is on this one. I heard it through the grapevine. Okay version. But you know what? This album really surprised me. The Temptations like to do some covers, and they're not always hitting. But you know what? This album was very good back to back. Enough that I'm willing to recommend it as one of the top 10 that, you know, if you're going to have one of these albums, then, you know, this one I would put lower on the scale. But I would say, you know what? Cloud 9, Temptations, can't go wrong. Back to back. This is a very good album. And again, peak period. This is, I think, I'm not sure if we've lost our man David Ruffin yet. It's possibly that we have, actually, because I think his last LP with them would have been '68, would have been Wish It Would Rain. But you know what? Still legendary stuff. The Temptations. Cloud 9, also from '69. Woo! If I haven't talked about this a million times, I don't know what to say about Roberta Flack's First Take except a legendarily good album. Joel Dorn, I believe, did the production on this one, but this is just basically Roberta kind of jumping on the stage and kind of setting it on fire. Particularly of note on this one, obviously, the first time ever I saw your face, which I believe is a Ewan McCall song, but also we're looking up north to Canada for Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye by Leonard Cohen. Ooh, and the version on this is absolutely supreme. This is a very, very good record, cover to cover, but particularly that second side. You start off with Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye, cut right into The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, which also was a huge hit for not until about 71, 72, when it appeared on, I think it was a Clint Eastwood movie soundtrack. If you can name it in the comments, free cookies and prizes for you. I'm not really remembering it. I think it was the Ballad of Josie. It's that one. Anyway, enough of that. Roberta Flack, First Take. I bought about 5 copies of this last year for like under $5. So this is out there, but wow, it's a really good record. Sounds great on vinyl too. So if you can pick one up, you should on the Atlantic label. 55 years. And you know what? We'll cut it up. We'll absolutely finish this video right now with I believe Marlena Shaw's best LP. How about The Spice of Life from 1969 on the Cadet label? Why is that important, you'll ask? Well, the Cadet label, who do they have as a key producer on that label? How about Charles Stepney? Magician in the production realm. This is Marlena Shaw at her most funky. At her sort of most soul. She did a lot of material, a lot of jazzy stuff, and certainly as the 70s went on, it got into disco, etc., etc. A lot of sort of almost theatrical work, but I will say that The Spice of Life, woo, banger. Woman of the Ghetto, ooh, that's a good one. But how about easily the winner, California Soul, with an absolutely incredible drum break. It's been sampled, of course, by the legendary rap group Gang Starr. But California Soul by Marlena Shaw. Look that up right now. And tell me that that's not an absolute banger. But again, R.I.P. to Marlena Shaw, as a matter of fact. As of the filming of this video, I think it might have been a week or two ago, she just passed. But wow, this record, I think this is definitely a repress. I don't know how available this is. In fact, I just was up north in the old Winnipeg, Manitoba. Happened to find a copy of this on the repress, but again, I don't know how much availability there is for this record. But ooh, it's a good one, and it should be in your collection of any Marlena Shaw record. I think 1969's The Spice of Life. Ooh, put it in there on the Cadet label. So yeah, there you go. We're done. We did 10 55-year-old records, all LPs released in 1969. Let me ask, are there any that I've missed, again, that are unique? Let's not start talking about Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, about the Beatles, about the Stones. Everybody has those records from 69. Tell me a unique LP from 1969 that blew the doors off of your ass, and yeah, we'll take it from there. So again, thank you for joining me. Like, subscribe, tell friends to subscribe, tell friends to tell their friends to subscribe, tell friends to tell their friends, relatives to subscribe. I mean, why not? If they like soul and they like music and they like LPs, then why wouldn't they love an adult man doing show and tell on the YouTube for everyone? So yeah, thanks for joining me, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I am going to see you on the next one.